Hello and welcome to Builders, the podcast where we sit down with the people shaping the future of technology, culture, and leadership. Today's guest is Carrie Carrasco, Director of Hybrid Cloud Platform at Red Hat, a company known not only for its powerful open source solutions, but also for pioneering a radically transparent, collaborative approach to both technology and leadership. From open hybrid cloud and platform engineering to inclusive leadership and talent development, Carrie brings a rare blend of technical depth and human insight. We've got a lot to explore, so let's jump in. Carrie, a warm welcome to the podcast. How's it going?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very proud, and actually I'm very honored to be here today.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. Let's get into some questions, shall we? Let's start at the beginning. Your tech journey, I believe, wasn't a traditional one. Can you walk us through it? What ultimately led you to cloud platforms and your role at Red Hat?
Well, I actually started many years ago. My first degree was nothing to do with IT. I did physics. Mm-hmm. And that was theoretical physics. That means you are in the area of, to be concrete, in the area of quantum physics, and also in the area of nuclear physics. That was my dream, was to start actually the job in a nuclear plant that was close to my city.
Okay.
I am originally from Spain, and in this city, about 50 kilometers away, was that nuclear plant. Mm-hmm. But in life, events happened, and then I decided that I didn't want to do anything with physics when I finished. Mm-hmm. And crazy enough, and then I thought the future is IT, mm-hmm. and English. I need to learn English. So I was lucky enough for a professor to believe in me and to say, I might have an opportunity for you to go to England, Portsmouth, and then you can do a master in information technology. The good thing was that I didn't have to do the 2 full years, because everything that was mathematics, it was already done because of my first degree. So the only thing I had to do is to focus on 1 year, focus on IT and English. So you are young, you don't think about anything, you think, wow, this is the opportunity of my life, so I really want to go there to do a master. And I did it, but it was the hardest year of my life, because to do a master in a language that you don't control or manage is a very tough goal.
Yeah.
You are in a survival mode in that case, and then you go through it. I created a system that is a very interesting one, to learn English ASAP. Mm-hmm. And that means that I need to be ready for the first test in 1 week.
Okay,
and you are not able. You are not able to fail. And it was a rule in the master that it was the first test that you don't pass for anyone in the master, you are out, because the waiting list was long.
Yeah.
So it was very stressful. But one thing to another, I went through the year. I took my master, and I got the master, and I came back to Spain. Fantastic. And that was my first contact with IT, where when I came back to Spain, then I got a job that I was teaching computing to engineers. And but at that time, when you are doing that, it's more, let's say more theoretical than practical, doing projects of customers. I was teaching C programming and Pascal, because for the students, when you are new in programming, Pascal is a very structured way of thinking, and that helps to put your thoughts in a way that you can learn that type of programming. Of course, it's a different one than natural language programming, but for the structure one. And that is the first contact with IT. At that time, I created, or at least I was doing the PhD, but it was PhD in applied physics. And actually the idea was, because one thing is what you plan, another thing is how life goes. The idea was to study the human brain. But applying physics means you study the brain from the magnetic fields point of view. So then from the using physics, that is called applied physics. So the energy, energy and magnetic fields, how all the neurons work.
Yeah.
But then the time came with internet. Internet was way too interesting. And we thought we need to do something else. So we changed the gear, the professor and me, and we did and created what we call the first alternative digital labs.
Okay.
And what was that? It was internet was very basic at that time. Yeah, internet was only hypertext, basically.
What year are we talking here?
To 1995, 1996, around, because at the time when you could do, it was very a discovery moment when you could attach your picture on the web page on internet. It was very cool. But anyway, what the alternative labs is about doing an application where the student could have the same experience that they could have in the lab, in the physical lab, while they were studying, for example, the organs of a little animal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So instead of being with your hands, opening the little animal and looking at the organs and studying cells and things like that, it was the digital labs were created. That's why they were called alternative digital labs, so that you could learn and to have the same experience. That means with text, with voice, with video, with images, so that you can have that complete experience, but not being in the physical lab with handling little animals.
Right.
And that was a very innovative at that time. But at one point, at the same time that I was doing that, I was teaching. I was, I think, 26, 27 years old. And one day I thought, I think I have to do something else. Why? I don't know. But that was the moment that I thought I'm going to apply to British Telecom. I did. I got the job, and I arrived in British Telecom in Ipswich as it was user experience specialist. So you are a developer, yeah?
Yeah.
And it was the best time of my life in the innovation center. That you do all type of, you're doing IT projects. They're all prototyping, ideas, concept, you prototype. If the prototype was successful, then they will commercialize.
Okay.
And if it was not successful, we throw it away. We move on and we go to the next one. And we did there, I actually was doing the Java, many other type of languages, JavaScript, and doing the core programming language was in C, C++, and Java, depending on the project, because that was really programming. And the best, I think the coolest that I remember, there were many, by the way, but the coolest that I remember, it was what we call intelligent agent. And this intelligent agent is you give a book in text format, pure plain text, English, by the way, was only in one language. And we need to fit that into this agent, and then the agent needs to read the book and to generate a coherent summary of the book. And that was very cool to do, because it sounds very simple, but it was not as simple, because just think about ourselves. And if we need to read a book, you read the book, how complex or how simple it is. Only text, let's say, in this case. And then you need to, after reading the book, you need to give me a summary, a coherent summary of the book. And it was a complex at the time. It was fun. We learned a lot.
This is a task that you see a lot of kind of LLMs doing today.
And now, exactly. And now you see, wow, this is obviously now it's much better. The technology, the computer power is so much advanced. What what we were doing this was with very basic programming. But there are many things that are still the same. What I mean by that is there was a multidisciplinary team. I was a developer just writing code and algorithms. But because this was reading a book, we have in the team people that they were specialized in linguistics.
Right.
Because they need to give a lot of data. How do you treat the book? How do you keep the context? How do you keep the semantics? It's all about meaning, and all of that was super interesting. We have also people that they were busy with the part of the let's say the regulations and the law, because are you allowed to do a summary of a book? You need to keep in mind the copyrights, and all of that. So they need to take into consideration many aspects. But this was about commercializing the agents. And that was for an internet, when you are selling books, that you can provide not only an abstract, but also a summary of the book. So then you can sell more books. That was the whole point. It's good for the customer experience and good for a new revenue stream for the company.
Yeah.
As an example, but it was a basic one, but now it's a lot of things you can relate to. But that's how I came, and I end up in IT, basically.
Fantastic. And then, fast forward to today, and the last. How many years have you been at Red Hat in your
10
current
years.
role?
10 years. No, not in the current role. I joined Red Hat back to 2015. And within the 10 years, I have been changing roles of the scope of the teams as well. But it looks like 2 years ago. Time goes so fast that I can't.
It does, right? It does. And I think, Red Hat has this kind of strong engineering culture, I think, built around open source. But for those unfamiliar, what's the big idea behind open hybrid cloud platforms? How is kind of Red Hat driving this space?
Well, actually, as I said, 10 years ago, I joined Red Hat. And the reason why I joined, there were two main things. And is that I truly believed that at that time, that open source cloud, they were the way to go. And already by then, Red Hat has the strategy of open hybrid cloud. Already by then. And this is very consistent. And what does it mean, actually, if I can unpack a little bit, is that open means that the platforms from Red Hat, they are all based on open source innovation. But it's not only about the open source regarding the software itself that is all developed in the open source communities, but it's also about being open to integrate with ecosystems and the partners' solutions. But very important as well, is about having the open standards to have open architectures, because that is what brings flexibility and stability. That is what customers are having the challenge with, and that is what the open is bringing into that space. And taking hybrid cloud, that is extremely, I find, unique. And that is the hybrid cloud means that you can develop any application that you might have as a developer, but it can be deployed in any location. That means any public cloud or any private cloud or in the data center, of even at the edge. And that means is consistent across the different environments. Is consistent across as well the teams like operations and developers. As a developer, from the developer's point of view, in my case, for me, the value of all of this is that it's consistent. And that as a developer, I have my own languages. I am developing my own languages for the applications that I need to build. And then it is consistent in how I need to experience. It doesn't matter in which location or which cloud of this in the data center, which infrastructure needs to be deployed.
Right.
That consistency helped me because I think developers, they are having a lot of cognitive load compared nowadays with when I was a developer. I think in my time it was even easier because I was just a developer and I did that development and writing lines of code. And I think now is much more work that is on the desk of the developers.
Yeah.
And that's why that consistency help a lot. Because today, for example, if you're in a project, and I might need to do my application and deploying a specific infrastructure because the customer wants to do it in that infrastructure. And that is fine. It's an option.
Yeah.
But then I am moved to another project, and then I need to learn a different way of deployment because a different customer is doing a different infrastructure. And all of that is load, is cognitive load. So that is the value for the developers bringing this consistency.
Yeah. And that from the kind of developer perspective, because I think I was, depending on where you read, of course, like the large majority of enterprise companies, at least, operate in some form of hybrid or multi-cloud environment, right? Combining, like you were talking about, this public or private infrastructure. Why are these kind of hybrid cloud platforms such a critical part of enterprise infrastructure? You've just been talking about the developer perspective. What about the company's perspective, or does it all kind of link back to the developer's perspective, do you think?
Not necessarily. This is also from the operations point of view, but that's why I think that Red Hat with this open hybrid cloud platforms is a pioneer. But we are talking about this already for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And in the market, there have been different waves. Yeah. Different waves. Well, you do everything on the data center, then come the waves that all goes to the cloud. And that's fine because there are options and there are reasons for choosing one way or another. And there are reasons for the business to be fast, to get agility. And in time, the reality is that it depends. For some parts of some applications, and to be fast, to have time to market, you can go to a cloud deployment. While for others, because of data privacy, because of regulations, you might need to have some extra security settings that you need to keep. And in that case, then you prefer to have it in your own infrastructure. So at the end, the reality is hybrid. And hybrid, what we call hybrid, is your choice. What we provide is the choice, and then the customer decides where to choose which one.
Yeah, and in terms of where, there's a lot that we're hearing now about this sovereign cloud and data residency and stuff. And I guess this is particularly relevant in regulated industries, right? How do you see these trends, let's say, shaping the future of hybrid cloud architecture? Is Red Hat, like, what role does Red Hat play in enabling that?
I think here the important piece that makes the difference is the open source. That open source software that is developed in the open source communities. That is how do you frontiers? It doesn't have frontiers. It's really the communities are composed of all type of vendors, partners, customers, developers, freelancers. They're spread worldwide, so they are not. It's not attached to one specific country. But open source is an option, and that is I think the one of the good ones, the good options, the good choice for these discussions that we are having lately. But at the end of the day, what is important is that you have a choice to decide. Today is, for me, this is the right option. And tomorrow, to actually, you need to have the flexibility in your architecture so that you can decide tomorrow. We don't know what will come tomorrow because it could be very volatile. And then you have the flexibility to say, tomorrow we will go into a different infrastructure of, you have portability, you have interoperability. The interoperability is important, having open standards so that then you can connect here, connectivity here, and tomorrow you might change because of other forces that external forces, like call it.
Yeah.
Let's call it that. But the important part is to have this flexibility built in the architecture.
Yeah, and OpenShift is it's a key part of Red Hat's strategy here, right?
Yeah.
How would you describe what makes OpenShift unique in the cloud platform space?
For me, OpenShift, what it makes the value of it is that OpenShift is the one for us as a hybrid cloud. You can have the developers developing some applications, AI or non-AI applications, of applications that they are AI enabled, of cloud native applications with microservices architecture, or the traditional applications, legacy ones, and allows you to run all of those. That is our hybrid platform. And then is the consistency for the users, and in this case, the users of the platform are either software engineers, or platform engineers, or developers. And then you get the consistency, the way that you can work with it.
And how do you measure success when you're building infrastructure that, let's face it, it's not visible to most end users, right? But it's mission critical to the business itself. So how do you go about measuring success?
Measuring success of the platform, or measuring success of
exactly, yeah,
because
of the platform, yeah.
I think for the measuring success of the platform is important to have, when you are, first of all, you need to have the teams making use of that platform. Yeah, and here we have two. Let's say, to keep it simple, there are many more, but to keep it simple, we have the teams who provide the platform and the teams who use the platform. Yeah,
Right.
and let's say that the consumers are developers, or could be different lines of business. When it's successful is when the platform is delivering to this line of business what they need. And what they need is, perhaps, I need to put this application online, of this product online, of this service online, as soon as possible. And that is all related to time to market. And can the platform deliver that? The teams that they own the platform, they need to be able to deliver that functionality, those capabilities to the business side.
Yeah.
On the other side, it's also successful if the people in the platform teams, they are also are able to have a platform that is flexible enough, and they don't get stuck in, how do you call that? And keeping the lights on only.
Right.
They need to take care, and I know probably everybody's going to laugh at this, but they need to give love to the platform. And the platform is not something you build today and you forget about it. It's in continuous evolution, and it needs to be there for a reason, and the reason are the business users.
Yeah.
So we cannot build a platform that is for me, for myself, and for you and yourself. The platform is there to serve those users.
Yeah.
And sometimes, of many occasions, we forget this within the big enterprises, because we are so busy with our own teams, organizations. We are also, for many reasons, and there are also, if we are overloaded, then at the end you can only focus on keeping the lights on, and you are not able to cope with more.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of not only about the technology, definitely this is about people and process.
Yeah. And to go a little bit more into like the team side of things here, and I think when you're talking about the platform, this platform engineering here, really, which for me, I don't know, fill in any gaps here, but for me, platform engineering is like, it's all about building the internal tools, right? And services that, well, empower developers to build and ship software, right?
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes.
So, in your view, what distinguishes great platform teams from good ones?
Oh, very interesting one.
Mm.
So what you are asking me
Because I'm
is
assuming they're all great at Red Hat, right? You know,
how to distinguish great from
from good.
good. I would say that this is nothing to do with the technology. The technology is something, is a tool that you use, and the question here is how do you do it? And this is about people aspects. And how do I distinguish this? For me, is about, do we have in the teams, do we have drivers or do we have passengers? And what I mean by that is, we always talk about leaders, yeah? And leaders do not need to be only leadership in management roles. We have leaders in any other type of role of individual contributors. And for me, the great teams, the great people in the team are the ones that they are leaders, and they are what I call open leaders. And these are the ones that they are not only busy with themselves, but they are also busy with making sure that the people in the team, they're also growing with them as well. It's a personal leadership. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what is the difference between one and the other? The personal leadership is the one that you are busy only with yourself. You do your best. You have your knowledge. You have your expertise, and you have your own self motivation. Yeah. And the ones that they are great, it's not only about me. It's also about how can you bring out the best of the others in the team.
Yeah.
How can you leverage their expertise as well? How can you influence that they are also motivated, and they can also have the initiative to participate and to come and to solve problems with with personal initiatives, yeah, and gather inputs and provide feedback, so that this there is a formula, but that is perhaps too mathematical. For how do you, because you say how do you measure this?
Yeah.
Because this is all people aspect. It's all very difficult to measure this stuff.
Exactly.
So I will say, if you allow me to say that the formula that we can say is I is impact, yeah, and I is equal to Y is Y. Y is you, plus N. And what is N? N is the number of people who impact others with your influence. So if we have an I equal Y plus N, if you remove the impact to others, you get I is just me.
Yeah.
That means is you is with yourself, you are busy with yourself, and that's also your choice. That is also, but when you are great is when you have also that influence on others.
Very, very interesting formula. I've jotted it down here, so I can take it with me. Thank you. But also on the people aspect, how do you mentor engineers to take on? I mean, in your domain, this kind of broader platform thinking. So, like beyond just the code.
How do I? You mean mentor?
Mentor like the engineers, those in the teams.
But you mean to mentor them to when we are in the teams, just that they get.
So how do you essentially help them or kind of mentor them to maybe fulfill this broader profile where there's this, it just goes beyond the code, just the kind of hard coding, the hard technical expertise, essentially.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I understand what you mean. This is not only, this is what I recognize myself in the question when I was younger, because when I was actually a developer, I was doing that. I only focus on that, and I never thought these other the people aspects about. Of course, you are part of a team, and of course, you collaboration is very important and working together. Yeah, and that is the part that when they ask me, the hard course you can learn. You learn programming, and that is something you don't need. You are more you are smarter than me. You can learn yourself. Yeah, that is something you can learn. But there's the soft skills where you can influence others in thinking different, of considering other ideas, even though sometimes you think your idea is the best one, as we always think. Those the communication is key. I always say communication. And what I mean by that is everything we do, share with your. In this case, let's keep it small with the team members. Yeah, it's always very important that they know what you are doing or what you are not doing. And when you don't do something, there is a reason behind that. This is all knowledge. It's about sharing the knowledge of your expertise, and there's when we can grow together. Because this is also thinking process. When you are coding, you are thinking a lot and making a lot of decisions why you do it one way or another. And that is very valuable, but that is never, you cannot record that anywhere.
No.
The only way is sharing with the others. Yeah. And not every, in this case, I was not doing that when I was a developer, not because I didn't want to, I just simply didn't think about it.
Right.
Until you see the value.
You weren't maybe encouraged to do it either, or kind of mentored to. Yeah.
But then I was in a team where I saw, I thought that was fantastic. I was in this team. I was so lucky. Sometimes when you are in teams, that was not by mistake or by coincidence, but I got, when you say the A team, and I was lucky to be there. And it was amazing to have this. Every single one in the team was not about each of their expertise, but also about working together and sharing those pieces of information that they were key, but really in a proactive manner. And I realized, hey, this is very good. This is very good because at the end, the result of as a team, it was great. And I thought this is something that I need to promote if I can't.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need to experience, because I realized that when I experienced it, nobody told me.
Right.
Or nobody shared that with me. Have you thought about this? No. But then I experienced it and I thought, wow, this is great. Everybody wants to work in a team like this. But then it's not only about what you can contribute with regarding coding, but it's about the teamwork and the collaboration. And in the collaboration is always sharing the information and the knowledge and not keeping for yourself. In collaboration is also including asking for feedback of listening to different ideas.
Yeah.
But I mean listening to different ideas, not only to, you hear and you move on. Yeah. Really listening and discussing. And if it's a good idea, it's good. If it's not, it's also fine. And that comfort that you get in the team, that's magic.
And you were mentioning there as well, obviously the hard skills of technical expertise, but then like the softer parts as well. Does this really feed into what you think is really, really important when hiring new team members? What do you prioritize like above anything else when it comes to hiring, or is it as simple to say it's a combination of factors, or is there one specific thing that you look at first?
You know, I do look at EQ, not the IQ,
The EQ, yeah,
but the
yeah.
EQ, because we have a lot of. You have the curriculums, and you read there is all about IQ, and it's becoming even more important than ever. The actually what I call the emotional intelligence. Why? Because that's how is our aptitude, is our eagerness to learn, is our curiosity, is about is a person who takes initiative. Is there is a challenge. What we need is drivers, people who really want to say, you know what, I don't know, but let me take care of this. And then you need to take those control risks, and that is all in the what we call soft skills aspects, people aspects, and that is the first thing I look at.
Nice.
Actually, already for many years, I have many interviews, and sometimes I ask a few questions, and depending on the candidates, they really answer and they give you examples. And I remember I had once one interview with a person, and I asked, "What is your dream?" And he was very offended
Okay.
with the question, and I didn't understand why. Then after that, I asked why you got offended with the question, because it was very pure out of curiosity and nothing behind that. I said that he's very data-driven person, so that was not a welcome question.
How did it end?
I learned.
Yeah.
But now with the times that are coming with having AI everywhere, and we all, whatever role we have, we need to embrace this. If there is something that can be automated with AI, is all the hardcore skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least to start with, for now. Yeah, we don't know in the future, but for now, this is what is, and that is okay, because there are things that can be automated, and then will make my life. Then I will have more time to speak with my colleagues and to talk and interact and connect. And now we are lacking of that because we don't have time to be able to do so.
But just to stay on the AI topic, because we can't avoid it, of course. But from the the internal kind of platform perspective, or the infrastructure perspective, what impact are you seeing AI and automation have on how platforms are built and on how they're operated?
Can I be bold here?
Well, yeah, of course.
Of course, this is my personal opinion. Yeah, you might agree, you might disagree. But obviously, with AI, let's say the Gen AI applications, not the predictive AI, but the Gen AI, I think is everything that we have done and we have learned from doing the new way of working with DevSecOps, we need to apply to doing MLOps. Obviously, they have different characteristics, these type of applications, the different, some additional hardware needed, and there are characteristics of these applications. But at the end of the day, it's very important to keep the security, to keep the governance, to keep all of that we have learned. We should not learn again. We should just take it for granted and do it. And that's what I think when we are go to scale, and because one thing is when we are in the prototyping phase, another thing is when we really go to enterprise and scale. There we need to think about applying that way of thinking and working with MLOps. And second of all, I think it's important for the companies to think how to bring things. It's all about trust at the end of the day, yeah, with AI, Gen AI, and it's how we can. Let me use the word centralize because at the moment it's all very fragmented, and that is the way everything it starts like that. It's fragmented. There are different trials here and there. But when we want to go take it that seriously to the next level, then there are things that needs to be centralized to make sure that but we keep risks under control, the security, the privacy that is needed, and other regulations that we need to take into consideration, that they are not only with technology, but also some governance around that, yeah, that is needed. And that will help to build this trust.
And is this something that you at Red Hat are kind of really doing, or is like how is AI shaping how your team thinks about its processes, or like about whatever it might be, observability or scaling or I don't know, incident response on these kind of cloud platforms,
Actually,
whatever.
For us within the team, because we do have the hybrid platform, and there you can the platform is ready not only to run the non AI applications but also AI applications. And but to bring that at scale, then is to have this controls. Then the supply chain, the control supply chain, the security supply chain for the MLOps, yeah, for this type of application. And that is, I think, on the infrastructure level. Then what is done on the model for the modeling is, it's a lot of things happening in the open source world. And of course, there are a lot of movements, a lot of things happening. And I think I get very exciting because it's all about how we can make this more accessible to let's say to a bigger group of people, and not only depending on having a big pocket. But there, I think, is with all these new ways, the new agents that they're talking about, the agentic agents, that I always think in going back to the book, yeah. If I have an agent that can read a book, this only textbook, so that is very fit for purpose agent, yeah, is reading a book, and the book can be only text, because it's not the same to read a book with text that you need to read a scientific book with a lot of mathematical formulas. It's a different way of reading and absorbing that information. That could be another fit for purpose agent, and then they can communicate with each other. So it's all of this is what is coming. Is I find very exciting. But there are a lot of things I think we're in evolution.
Yeah.
I think with large language models, with small language models, and then all the other capabilities that they are needed to keep this more or less under control regarding also cost.
And there's I think you're right. There's a lot happening and evolving at great speed. But are there any technologies or trends in open source right now that you think are still underappreciated?
Well, I don't know if the word is underappreciated, or is sometimes is that people don't know about it. It could be as well, yeah. But I think there are what they call the open source models. That, for example, there is an open source models. They are Granite, and that is an open source model done by IBM Research together with Red Hat. And these are generic models. And there you have the value of it is that you know how this generic model has been trained, because you will get the data. That is the open source. You get the transparency of the data sets. Yeah. But they're generic models. So the good things could be you can take that to your let's say, infrastructure to your premises, and then you can educate or train, let's say, train the model with your data for a specific task. At least the foundation is open source, and you have the data. It's transparent in that sense. You can explain how this has been built, but then you put it with your private data. Then is your infrastructure and your data. So then that piece is what you can build upon, and that is a way of making use of models. Another way is there are people they are building up from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are done the commercial models as well. So I
And
think that, yeah.
do you think many are being built from scratch because it's such a unique use case where these open models just don't serve any purpose? You were talking about kind of having this generic model and then being able to use it with proprietary data to then kind of train it for a specific use case. Why, if such a kind of vast number are available today, why would companies, or what are the specific reasons as to why companies would kind of build something from scratch? Because obviously open source contributions here are kind of impacting speed. Is it more kind of related to the security side of things, or?
I think it's all, but this is my point of view. I think it's related to trust, and because if you start from scratch, I think there are a few. The reality is that everything was public because the ChatGPT was popular among the consumers. Yeah, that's the reason. Artificial intelligence has been there for many, many years, but now was visible. It was tangible. Everybody could play with it. Yeah? And that's what triggers all of this. But then there are people that they want to start from scratch, and that is all to do with the trust in the data that you want to use for building these models. And the key is all about the data. And one way to accelerate this is definitely not everybody can afford that. You have companies, they might be able to afford that, and then they make the choice. But there are other choices of having that generic model. I think is very fast. Then you only need to work on you educated of training with your own data. And you can control that because it's your data and it's within your premises, and you know the data that you will use. So there are these different choices of that people can make. They are all valid, but I think still there's a lot of things to happen because this is all new space as well. Yeah, with having models that. Now there are more open source models out there. There is a lot of discussion as well about what is open source because there are many definitions. But at the end of the day, the point of view of Red Hat is that it is about at least the software that is the source code. It needs to be with the open source licenses and the weights on the data sets as well. And that is, I think, in many occasions they need to see how all of this will do the evolution. I think we are learning still. We are learning.
There's still some way to go, for sure. But if we look ahead, before we start to wrap up, what is there something in the cloud or platform space that excites you right now? Anything that you're really excited by?
Yes, there is something. All of this, what is happening about the agentic and all these agents that they can think, or at least they can simulate how we, the human beings, are thinking. Yeah, and we can even make a plan. They can even that is what they do. These agentic agents, they can make a plan, they can make decisions, and they can act on it. And then I thought, and this is a very bold and crazy image that I have when I hear about all of this is, so those days I do have an issue with my eyes. Yeah, they are not very good regarding quality, so I have my issues with that. Some days are very difficult because nowadays we are with a lot of screen time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, I would love to not look at the screen all the time with fixed eyes. And I would like to talk to the computer and to tell, I need to do this presentation. This is what are the data that I need. This is what I would like to convey. This is the message that I want to give. And can you, take all these data sources that I'm telling you, put them together, and make that presentation. I mean, in the what we call the slide deck. Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that. If they can go to this data, that data, that's what I need. The numbers, the image, and then it is.
Because a lot of this kind of functionality is already there, right? It's kind of in progress, being used for different tasks. It's just a matter of in a completely new way taking it from A to B, and being able to do every single part. Now, I guess there are lots of people testing this out this year as well.
That is the productivity at the end that will help us, and all these tasks of this work that we do. That is the productivity part that can help us with. And then that means I can spend more time with the team, really having good discussions about where we can put our creativity to think out of the box when there are big challenges out there, or there are issues, how we can solve them.
Yeah. The rise of the agents, of course. But I'd love to get your take on a couple of leadership related questions as well before I do wrap up. We're touching a little bit on leadership earlier, but how do you think leaders at all levels, especially in technical roles like yours, how can they actively support others in growing into leadership roles themselves, particularly those coming from these kind of maybe underrepresented or maybe even non-traditional paths? I mean, like yours, right?
But leaders, when we are talking about that, is leaders in the space where they are experts. We are not talking about managerial roles, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, leaders where they're experts rather.
Because it's a very good question, because when I was talking to one of the team members, and I said, I was explaining, you have the knowledge, you have the expertise, you can be the leader of this team. And
not everyone wants to be, right?
And then he said, but Carrie, you are assuming I want to be a leader, or I don't want to. And I said that sometimes I know he doesn't want to be a leader, but he's being seen as a leader by others in that space, in that domain of expertise. Yeah, and I think he's acting as a leader, and of what I see is acting as a leader, because is doing not only what we were saying before. It's not about your expertise and your knowledge and your motivation, but actually the people around you are growing with you. That's why they see you as a leader. You are sharing, you are including them, you're asking for opinions, you trust them that they will do the right thing. Yeah. So they're acting as a leader in that specific domain, but they don't realize that. And that's what I said, you are, even though you said you don't want to. I said, I asked, what do you mean by you don't want to? And he was thinking about all the managerial piece of work. I said, no, I'm not talking about that type of leader. It's a different responsibility.
Yeah.
So it's important to clarify. There are people that simply don't want to be. And that is also fine, by the way. It's also fine. If a person does not want to lead in, I call it like a knowledge cluster, that you can lead a team with knowledge and expertise. But still, if you don't want to be a leader, it's important to keep in mind to grow from the soft skills perspective regarding the communications and the empathy with others when we are in a team. Because at the end, it's not only about what you do, it's also about what we do as a team, because that is, at the end, the result of, it has an outcome. And we are successful as a team as well. And you know what I always say, in the chain, the weakest piece is then the weakest in the whole chain. Yeah.
No, very well put. And before I wrap up here, is there anything else that you would like to add regarding future, the future, or kind of work ongoing at Red Hat?
I think for us, extremely important is that we need to stay tuned to everything that is happening. A lot of things are being also announced regarding the hybrid cloud and all the choices, because what we provide is a choice. And then the customers, they can choose what is best suits them. And for the developers and systems and software engineers, I think it's important to stay curious about finding out all these different technologies and understanding what is the best one for a reason, of the best one for a different reason. That sometimes the decisions are made for us. And it's important to understand what is the impact and the value that we bring within the system where we are working in. What I mean by that, when I develop an application and I'm working in one piece of code, it's important to understand what is the value of my piece of code in the bigger picture.
And the bigger, yeah.
Because then you know your impact.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very well put. Well, let us wrap up here, Carrie. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights on hybrid cloud, on platform thinking, and leadership as well. Really, really interesting to talk with you. And thanks once again for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. To everyone listening, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe, to share, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep on building, and we'll see you soon.